Rob Dietz, Enough is Enough, Building a Sustainable Economy in a World of Finite Resources. In today's world, economic growth seems to be the ultimate goal of every nation, leaving us with a system that promotes consumption and inequality. In Enough is Enough, author Rob Dietz challenges this growth-oriented mindset and introduces the concept of a steady-state economy. This economic approach aspires for resource sustainability and economic equality, advocating for policies that recognize Earth's finite resources and put societal well-being at the forefront. Get ready to explore new economic strategies, understand the limitations of GDP-oriented policies, and learn about the 4 characteristics of a steady-state economy that can shift our current economic paradigm for the better.
The illusion of growth. Every government accepts the idea that economic growth drives prosperity, but this assumption is misguided. Economist Herman Daly advocates for a steady-state economy that prioritizes resource sustainability and economic equality. Daly proposes that economic impact evaluations should consider the Earth's limited resources, and that society should promote new strategies to replace the flawed consumer-driven mentality that perpetuates growth. Despite a significant increase in GDP over the last century, growth has not benefited all segments of society equally, resulting in significant income gaps, negative social fallout, and environmental degradation. The challenge is to figure out how to build an economy on something other than ever-increasing consumption. Sustainable growth. Achieving sustainable economic growth requires shifting from traditional economies of scale to a more realistic, sustainable economic scale. To accurately assess the planet's carrying capacity, consumption patterns of individuals, communities, and nations must be evaluated. However, technology alone cannot solve the negative effects of unbridled population or economic growth. It is crucial to live and create in line with the real limits and desirability of economic growth to create a sustainable future for our planet. Rethinking the economy. Economic experts propose a shift from a production-centered economy that prioritizes GDP growth and consumption to a steady-state economy that emphasizes sustainable resource use, income equality, and quality of life. A steady-state economy values lifestyle quality and environmental protection over consumer goods and perpetual growth. This economic system requires new indicators of success, such as high-quality local jobs and greater income equality. Environmental externalities and their impacts on society should be considered. To implement a steady-state economy, governments need to introduce policies like rationing, banning certain materials, and using tradable permits to regulate carbon emissions. The idea is to maintain a balance between the economy and the environment, where natural resources are consumed at a rate science can replace, and waste is disposed of at a pace that allows the environment to manage it. Controlling population growth. By 2050, the world's population is predicted to reach 9.3 billion, and 10 billion by 2100. Combating population growth requires education as the most effective tool, which could prevent 80 million unwanted pregnancies from happening per year. Although technological progress can help manage growth, it is not sufficient. Successful population control policies involve improving access to contraceptives and limiting immigration. A separate approach must be developed for countries with high fertility and low incomes and those with high incomes and low fertility. By showing compassion and educating people about contraception, developed nations can control their population growth. Income equality, beyond economic growth. The prevailing production-centric economic model that prioritizes greater output leads to gross income inequalities. A UN Development Program survey measured the income gap ratios of major nations, showing that the US and Portugal had the highest while Japan and Finland had the smallest. Income equality generates many benefits, such as longevity, smaller prison populations, less obesity and drug use, and greater social mobility, while large salaries and bonuses do not spur innovation. To close income gaps, governments have mechanisms such as social programs, minimum income requirements, and changes in progressive taxation. Possible strategies include paying a citizen's income capping incomes or inheritances, implementing pay differential ratios, creating more employee-owned companies, cooperatives, and having more women in high-level executive positions. Emphasizing income equality instead of output must be prioritized as it improves the quality of life while greater consumption does not. Despite challenges, ideas are emerging from all corners of the world to create a more environmentally sound economy that benefits all citizens. The truth about money. Money does not have intrinsic value, and real wealth comes from tangible goods and services. The delinking of the money supply from GDP due to the proliferation of new financial instruments and deregulation is causing financial instability. Commercial banks create much more money than central banks, and borrowers must borrow more to repay loans, causing total money supply to expand. Governments must raise reserve requirements to prevent private banks from creating debt. Local currencies should be issued to encourage local spending, and a debt-free international currency and a tax on international financial transactions would help curtail speculative and destabilizing trading by large banks. The goal should be for society to have enough and focus on cultural and spiritual advancement. The pursuit of gross national happiness. Bhutan has modernized without succumbing to the negative impact of a high-consumption, high-growth economy. Under the leadership of King Jigme Sinji Wangchuk, the country prioritized the pursuit of gross national happiness over greater GDP. The pro-happiness inputs guide national policy, including environmental improvements, better mental health, cultural preservation, and efficient use of time. This happiness index prompts the need to re-evaluate GDP's value as the primary measure of economic production. Other countries like Australia, Japan, and the UK have started considering alternative measures based on people's contentment. An 81% majority of Britons are in favor of prioritizing their citizens' happiness over economic growth. Redefining work-life balance. While technology has improved productivity, employers continue to expect long hours and prioritize profit over beneficial work. The solution to this dilemma is to adopt flexible work arrangements, cut work hours and create jobs that benefit society. Countries like India, Argentina and European cities guarantee basic income jobs, helping decide when enough is enough. It's crucial to redefine work-life balance and shift the focus from profit to employee welfare.
Rob Dietz's book, Enough is Enough, paints a thought-provoking picture of what a sustainable economy can look like. It challenges the long-held belief in GDP-centered growth and puts forward the notion of a steady-state economy, acknowledging the finite resources of Earth. The key takeaways are the need to re-evaluate our economic policies, consider new indicators of success, build societies that focus on individual happiness, and ensure resource management aligns with planetary boundaries. By embracing these ideas, we can work towards a more equitable, sustainable, and prosperous society that values the well-being of its people and the environment over constant growth.